What's up, everybody? So I had planned to do a very formal slideshow presentation on this one, but technology just failed me. So I decided you're going to come and take a walk with me and Lulu, and we're going to talk about a new line that SDA is representing this year in 2025, and that is Graypants. So Graypants, probably our most creatively named manufacturer. They make these really awesome decorative fixtures that are totally unique on the market. What I really like about them is that they think really deeply about design. They're founded by Seth Grizzle. Seth is an architect out of the Seattle area. He's super smart. He's really interesting to talk to. And they're really dedicated to the idea of making like just different kinds of luminous objects. And we're going to talk about those objects on our little walk today. And don't worry, there won't just be my face. There's plenty of images to go along the way. So come with me on this little walk and we'll talk through Graypants. Graypants is probably best known for their Scraplight product, which I would be surprised if you haven't seen versions of this all over the place. They are essentially luminous, they're lamps, usually in pendant form, although they're also table lamps, that hide a luminous source with corrugated cardboard. The real insight on Scraplights was that if you light through that cardboard edge, you get this beautifully masked light source. It's warm and inviting. And if you open up the bottom of the light source, you can create a downlight effect, essentially, because opening that bottom portal, you can lens it, you can leave it open, you can create a soft light that's really just meant about creating a luminous object, or you can create a true downlight by putting a lens on there and driving light downward in a big soft light effect. So Scraplight is available in multiple form factors. There's big pendant forms, there's smaller, more decorative forms, there's also really large luminous objects, and not just round or square, they also have these really interesting like acorn shapes and hive-shaped products that I think are just beautiful for residential applications as well as commercial ones. So Scraplights is probably their best known product, but it's nowhere near the only thing they can do. What I really like about Barro is it was designed to be a reverent look at handmade objects. So the center shade of Barro is a handmade clay object, a cylinder. It's sort of a wider cylinder than a narrower cylinder that acts both as a heat sink and a light housing, for lack of a better term. And then that is draped with a thick hand-blown glass shade. So what I really like about Barro is not only is it a really beautiful light source, but it's a reverent look at a handmade object. And it's as much a story of process as it is a story of any kind of lighting performance or individual design take. It's very simplistic. It has a feminine edge with the way the glass is blown. I like a lot of things about it, and I think it speaks to Graypants' dedication to craft. And we'll talk a lot more about that in a little later. So Loci is another family of product. I don't think I need to really explain what Loci is. Loci is essentially a way of creating very tiny light sources around acrylic shading. And those acrylic shades can then be cut and shaped to match whatever the design preferences are, and then clustered in whatever ways make sense for the project. So you're going to see some examples of it later in this in the video, but there's a lot of ways you could use this, because once you start clustering them and then controlling them individually or in groups, you can create really beautiful and luminous effects. So a couple of things that I really like about Graypants is that they're able to take some concepts that we're seeing a lot of in the market but haven't been executed terribly well and turn them on their head. So there's two examples of that I wanted to talk about real quick. The first is a product called Wick, not John Wick. So the pandemic's gift to the lighting world was the portable table lamp, right? Every restaurant, especially in New York, that had these outdoor dining spaces had these USB-powered rechargeable lamps, right? So but they all had that little shade, and the idea was that they were supposed to be, I don't know, shielded somehow, but The execution was always a mixed bag. Well, Graypants kind of turned that on its head. What Graypants decided to do was redesign this and be inspired, as the name sort of tells us, by the candle, that wick idea. So if you look at the base of the fixture, you'll see this really, like the base where it charges has this little loop, and it's reminiscent of a portable candle in a holder. And I think it's just, it becomes not just a beautiful object, it embraces the luminosity of the object in a really smart way. And it embraces the portability. It tells you, pick me up and take me somewhere. Versus these other fixtures that have just a bare stem that doesn't really suggest that they should be moved. So it's just a really nice design gesture. A similar sort of rethinking of a trendy concept is what they call the Sunne. So Sunne, S-U-N-N-E, is a product line that takes the idea of a solar-powered lamp, which has become a pretty popular trend. But what I think most of us see when we hear about those is like an outdoor accent light with a big solar panel on it, or maybe like an outdoor bollard that has a separate solar panel. It's not a super elegant solution, and it doesn't really lend itself to what this can do. So what I think is pretty cool about the Sunne product that Graypants came out with is it mounts to a window. And the idea is that during the day when natural light is present, the solar panels on the back of the lamp are charging the battery. And then as the sun sets, that battery engages, and what you get is this really beautiful oval linear object that casts just very beautiful light. It can be RGB, it can be this color changing feature, but it's this beautiful luminous object that mounts to the window without interrupting it. And it's such a smarter take on the solar idea. So I really like this one. Okay, so there's a ton more products on their website. I'm not going to run through all of these on my walk, but I did want to sort of give you some ideas, and I want to leave you with some projects that I saw on their website that I was kind of blown away by. The first is Maslow's. So this is a restaurant with a concierge desk, and that restaurant has what is called Murmurations, right? Which is just a cluster or a group of Scraplights in these really interesting cut shapes. You can see in the photos, it just creates a luminous cluster. It warms up the space, and it invites you to come to the concierge desk and get greeted into the restaurant. So it's a really simple application of Scraplights, and I think just gives you an idea of what's possible. The next one is Atlas. It's a co-working space. And in that space, you see this really cool cloud fixture, right? I wanted to include this because it's a dead custom fixture, right? There's nothing about this that's in the catalog. You're not going to find this particular fixture in the catalog, but it was a good example of when a designer engages Graypants, you can make these really beautiful objects. And if you look closely, you'll see there's dark and shadow, there's really bright luminous spaces. It's a geometric shape. There's spheres that are clustered together, but they then come together to express an organic shape. And I just love that combination. So I wanted to include it in the slideshow. We talked about this low-key product. You don't need a lot of examples from me on how to use a product like that, but I thought that this event space was a good example. So this is an event space that can host anything from a poetry slam to a wedding to a rock concert. And this really beautiful chandelier fits right into all those applications. So let your mind really wander on what a product like this could do. And I think you'll find lots of different applications for it. And the last one I want to talk about today is True Food Kitchen. There are multiple locations. You may have eaten at one. Above your head in there are a totally different take on Scraplight. It's a huge drum with a lens on the bottom. And this was designed to create a bank of light over the dining areas that complements the warm woods and the other finishes inside the restaurant. It's just a simple statement, but using a product like Scraplight versus something either metal or wood, what you get is a very light, very easy to work with product. Easy to install, beautiful in the space, and totally fits with the design aesthetic. So it makes sense to use it, and I really like it. Thanks for coming on this walk with me to talk about Graypants. Seth is a fantastic presenter. He is the founder of the company, and he has obviously the complete vision of what Graypants wants to be in the marketplace. They are a design-forward company. They have a really distinct aesthetic that I think you're going to love. The materiality of the product, I think, is really great. And the story of how they make their products, both here in the United States and over in Amsterdam, is really pretty awesome. So we're booking presentations for Seth and the Graypants team. We're collecting samples now. This is a brand new line for us, and we think that the New York design community is really going to love Graypants, and we can't wait to engage with you and to tell you the story about why the company is called Graypants in the first place. So, thanks for watching. Happy 2025. Welcome to the party. I think it's going to be a great year, and we will see you on the next one.